Donald Trump is in full panic mode as his military campaign against Iran continues to unravel and spiral beyond his control. At this very moment in Tehran, enormous crowds are flooding the streets, enthusiastically embracing the appointment of the new Ayatollah and fiercely denouncing the United States. They are out there in massive numbers right now. So if this is the kind of reaction Donald Trump was hoping to provoke, well, congratulations, Donald. Take a good hard look at what you've caused. Take a look at what is unfolding right now in Revolutionary Square in Tehran, in direct response to Trump's war. You can witness it with your own eyes right here. Go ahead and play this clip. And this comes as we have now discovered that the United States has intercepted coded communications believed to have originated from within Iran that could potentially function as an operational signal for dormant operatives stationed outside of the country, according to a federal government bulletin distributed to law enforcement agencies across the nation. Iran may very well be mobilizing sleeper terrorist cells as a direct act of retaliation for Donald Trump's military invasion. But here's the thing, folks. The Trump children are absolutely thriving from all of this. Donald Trump's sons are throwing their support behind a brand new drone manufacturing company, as the Wall Street Journal has exclusively reported, with the clear objective of securing Pentagon contracts. It's a startup enterprise called PANICS, with roughly 50 employees on its roster. And as the United States is now reaching out to Zelensky for guidance on how Ukraine has managed to deal with drones during their conflict, it certainly appears as though the Trump kids want to cash in on that opportunity as well. Perhaps they want to absorb some of that technology, perhaps generate some hefty profits from it along the way. Can't you see what's happening here? That is precisely what this entire situation is really about right there. And they will betray and undermine Zelensky once more in the process. But the Trump kids, boom, war breaks out, and their immediate instinct is, let's rake in massive amounts of money right now, while ordinary American citizens are struggling and suffering, while our financial markets are plummeting, while the price of crude oil is absolutely skyrocketing at this very moment. They've now inserted themselves into a drone company after previously launching Bitcoin ventures. I mean, it's honestly so pathetic and transparent. So what exactly is Donald Trump choosing to post about this morning while all of this chaos is simultaneously unfolding? By the way, while Bahrain's leading oil corporation has just officially declared a force majeure in order to terminate and void some of its existing contractual obligations because its critical facilities are currently under direct attack, Bahrain's state-owned oil company has formally declared force majeure following an Iranian strike that set its sole refinery completely ablaze. You can see it right there. The Bahrain Petroleum Company, known as BAPCO, located near its capital city of Manama. You can see it right there under heavy assault, and they are now completely unable to fulfill any of their existing contracts or obligations. But here is what Trump is choosing to post instead. This is all by design to make Trump and Republicans look bad for the midterm elections. So apparently that's what this whole situation is really about, according to him. America needs to clean house from these leftist agitators. All they do is create havoc in America. They proved it with Biden's disaster for years. Enough. That is what Donald Trump is putting out there this morning. A repost from an account called Adela Mo 8639591. Then Donald Trump shares a meme originally posted by Guju Marie 1, depicting AOC and Schumer and other Democrats wearing devil horns on their heads. And the repost from Trump declares, I've seen a lot of stuff in politics, but I've never seen people who hate their country nearly as much as the current Democrats. And with Donald Trump, as we all know by now, it is always a matter of projection and inadvertent confession. We understand full well that he and the MAGA Republicans quite literally despise our country. And they demonstrate that hatred each and every single day through their actions and through their behavior. Additionally, Donald Trump is now publicly demanding that the Iranian women's soccer team, or if you're overseas, football team, be granted asylum from Australia. Yes, this is Donald Trump, the very same person who has been rounding up Iranians living within the United States and shipping them back to Iran, where they face execution and death. And Donald Trump has been carrying out these deportations with alarming frequency right here in the United States. And now he's seizing on this situation purely because it provides him with a convenient excuse to attack Australia this morning. He weaponizes the concept of asylum as a tool to criticize Australia when we are fully aware that he has been actively blocking Iranians residing in the U.S. from obtaining asylum protections. Just sit with that contradiction for a moment. Here is exactly what Donald Trump posted this morning. Australia is making a terrible humanitarian mistake by allowing the Iran national women's soccer team to be forced back to Iran, where they will most likely be killed. Don't do it, Mr. Prime Minister. Give asylum. The U.S. will take them if you won't. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump. Oh, and then Donald Trump follows up with yet another post using the image of the Iranian women's soccer team, and he simply writes, "Asylum!" with an exclamation point. Really? Asylum? Then you have state regime media, an official propaganda arm of the Trump regime, which here in the United States goes by the name Fox. I personally refer to it as state regime media. But you have Brian Kilmeade and the other hosts on Fox essentially addressing all the shipping operators out there, all the captains of those massive tankers, those enormous cargo vessels currently stuck and stranded in the Strait of Hormuz. He goes on to tell them, here's what you need to do. Demonstrate your patriotism by navigating through that strait. Take your vessels and push through the strait. That's how you'll prove you're patriotic. He's saying this because the trade route through the Strait of Hormuz has been effectively shut down and closed off right now as a direct consequence of the United States initiating this military conflict. Go ahead and play this clip. If they could get the prices of oil up that the president would have to draw from the conflict. So just careful, guys. And he said they go to the strategic oil reserve. That's what Joe Biden did to get prices down without a crisis. The administration announced a $20 billion maritime reinsurance plan. So he's saying, hey guys, even though we get the oil, the market's flush. This is fear. I'm still going to insure your ships. So go through the strait. And you know, that's just part of it. If you want to diminish the Iranian threat, if you want to make sure that this ends up with complete Iran capitulation, show some guts and go through that strait and do it. Knockoffs might appear identical at first glance, but we all understand they never stand the test of time. Leaf Filter isn't just another generic gutter guard. It's a trusted brand that's been engineered to endure, backed by years of relentless innovation and development. Don't settle for a cheap imitation. Safeguard your home with Leaf Filter and save up to 30% off your complete purchase at leaffilter.com/Midas. Look, gutters are far more complex than most people realize, and that's exactly why it's critical to go with a proven and reliable system rather than inferior knockoffs. When it comes to do-it-yourself projects, doing something incorrectly can end up costing you significantly more in the long run. An investment in Leaf Filter is an investment in precision engineering designed to shield your entire home. Clogged gutters aren't merely an inconvenience. They can result in severe and extensive water damage to your property. Don't put your trust in companies that claim they function like Leaf Filter. They simply don't. Hood-style guards can't keep pace during heavy rainfall. Water cascades right over the edge and flows directly toward your home's foundation or basement walls. And during lighter rain, leaves and debris can slip right through the gap. Leaf Filter performs better because it's capped with surgical-grade stainless steel and micro-mesh technology, so water is efficiently channeled inward while debris is filtered out where it belongs. Leaf Filter is your permanent answer to clogged gutters. Every single installation comes backed with a lifetime clog-free guarantee. With more than 50 design and engineering patents to its name, leaf filter is trusted by over 1 million homeowners across the country. From gentle drizzles to torrential downpours, leaf filter is engineered to deliver protection in every weather condition. Let Leaf Filter's trusted professionals handle the job. Call to schedule your complimentary gutter inspection and receive a no-obligation free estimate. A Leaf Filter trusted pro will thoroughly clean out, realign, and seal your gutters before installing Leaf Filter. Engineering, reliability, and outstanding performance. That's what makes Leaf Filter America's #1 gutter protection system. Start protecting your home today with Leaf Filter, America's premier gutter protection system. Schedule your free inspection at leaffilter.com/Midas. That's up to 30% off at leaffilter.com/Midas. See your representative for complete warranty details. And then later on, during the state regime media broadcast this morning, you have the United States Deputy UN Ambassador Tammy Bruce making the claim that, well, even if Russia is assisting Iran in targeting American troops and striking U.S. interests in the region, they're apparently not doing a very effective job because we've supposedly decimated Iran. Iran is decimated, she insists. Well, I showed you the footage earlier. Yes, you are indeed decimating vast areas of Iran. Yes, you are dropping enormous bombs on Iranian soil. And you are obliterating infrastructure left and right. There's absolutely no disputing that, including an elementary school where over 150 innocent children perished. 185 people in total lost their lives. Yes, you are destroying an enormous number of things. Israel is blowing up oil rigs. Countless targets are being demolished across Iran at this very moment. There is no question about that whatsoever. However, I'm far from convinced that Iran is truly decimated, because what you've actually accomplished is turning even those individuals who were potentially sympathetic toward the United States and who opposed the Ayatollah, you've turned them squarely against us. This strategy could not have possibly backfired more spectacularly. Here, go ahead and play this clip. Nat, how important is it to the U.S. that China and Russia not just stay out of it, but that they don't feel like we've drawn them into it? Well, obviously, I won't speak for the president or the White House. I know the administration's not going to comment on intelligence, whether it's true or not that's been leaked. What we can say, of course, is that if that ends up being true, or anything that disturbs what we're attempting to do, the president has relationships with anyone and would address that directly with Russia himself. That is what the people voted for when they voted for him again, the 2 times they voted for him, is that this is a man who's going to do things differently, who's taking charge, who knows everyone, who wants diplomacy first, who wants negotiated solutions first. He clearly, in order for us to be able to function, he must speak to everyone, whether it's China or Russia. And now, my being in a multilateral environment, 193 countries across the street from the U.S. mission, is that the world, you've got to talk to them. And they begin to understand and want leadership. That is what President Trump offers the world. They see the difference. And this dynamic right now, clearly, no matter what is going on, or if anyone's helping Iran, they're not doing a very good job of it because they're decimated at this point. Now it's a matter of the way forward, and Donald Trump will decide what that way is. And speaking of just how catastrophically this entire thing has backfired, I previously read to you some of the writings from this Emirati billionaire hailing from the United Arab Emirates, this prominent Emirati billionaire from just a few days ago. He heads the Al Habtoor Group. And here is what he has written this morning, after hearing everything that Lindsey Graham has been saying across all the morning news programs, and observing how Lindsey Graham has been standing side by side with Donald Trump, echoing these talking points. Khalaf Ahmad al-Habtoor states the following. I heard the statements of Lindsey Graham, in which he calls on the Gulf Cooperation Council countries to enter this war, saying that we are also under attack and that we must join the fight. And I say to him clearly, we know full well why we are under attack. And we also know who dragged the entire region into this dangerous escalation without consulting those he calls his allies in the region. We thank God, and we thank God, that the United Arab Emirates and the Gulf Cooperation Council countries are doing well. And we have no need for someone who claims he came to the Middle East to save us. The truth is that hasty American decisions are what embroiled the region in a war whose people were not party to its decision-making, and its local allies were not consulted before it was launched. We do not deny the Iranian threat to the region, which has become clear in recent days. We do not trust Iran. But this is a dirty game in which several powers clash at the expense of our region, with no honor in it and no transparency. In this scene, Iran, Israel, and the United States all move according to their own interests, not according to the interests of the peoples of the Middle East and Arab countries. And for this reason, we say it clearly: we will not enter this war to serve the interests of others, nor will we sacrifice our sons in a conflict that could have been avoided through diplomacy and political solutions. We value the lives of our sons, and we do not treat their souls as collateral damage, as some do. Nothing in this world is more precious than the lives of our sons, and no alliance with any country in the world is worth risking these lives. If President Donald Trump and Senator Graham are prepared to risk their country and the lives of Americans for Israel's interests, that is their choice. As for us, we will not do the same. Senator Graham says they are the Arabs' allies and that we need and benefit from U.S. protection. And I say to him, we do not need your protection. All we want from you is to keep your hands off of us. He also says we sell you weapons, as if that were a service the United States provides us. The truth is, this is no favor from anyone. We invest in our security and pay billions of dollars for these weapons, and it is a massive trade and industry built on these deals. In fact, the United States itself is now turning to buy weapons from Ukraine to supply its allies in other wars. This is an industry that thrives on wars and arms sales, not a charitable endeavor. And the clearest example, and the clearest thing of all, is what Senator Graham himself said when he spoke about oil. He stated that Iran and Venezuela together hold 31% of oil reserves, and that the United States could establish a partnership with this share of the world's oil, and that it would be a nightmare for China. He even added that if the regime in Iran changes, there would be a new Middle East, and the United States would make a lot of money. And then he goes on to conclude that it's painfully obvious that this is precisely what this entire endeavor is really about, and they refuse to be exploited for that purpose. Extraordinarily wise and insightful words indeed. And so that is the state of affairs unfolding this morning, right now, over here. You've got J.D. Vance out there deliberately refusing to label this a war. He instead refers to it as merely a, quote, conflict with Iran. Go ahead and play this clip. In the dignified transfer of 6 American soldiers who were killed overseas in this conflict with Iran. And you've got Tom Emmer, a MAGA Republican Congress member who is currently in Doral, Miami right now because all the Republicans are gathered at a lavish retreat with Donald Trump. They're funneling all their money into Trump's resort property, of course. And he stated, you know, this is just something short term. This isn't actually a war. He characterizes it as a short-term experience right now. Let's go ahead and play this clip.
I believe it is already being extremely successful, and I believe it'll be over in short order. That would be obviously the best case scenario, over and shorter, because if the GOP had a problem, or if it was trying to address affordability, and the president addressing that with oil over $100, that suddenly becomes, you know, the war in Iran, as well as what happens domestically with prices.
Yeah, yesterday I think a barrel of oil was at $105. So your point's well taken. But as the president has said, this is a short-term experience. This is a short-term cost to literally deal with the chief sponsor. Well, there you have it, folks. We continue to keep you informed and updated every single step of the way. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's push our way to 7 million subscribers. Thank you, everybody, for watching and tuning in. Want to stay connected and plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack over at MidasPlus.com. You'll receive daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and additional exclusive content that is only available at MidasPlus.com.